Hi, this is the Deck Network, and I'm your host, Mike Danzilio, and we have Matt from WBAB Radio here, who is he's working on a deck that a person with no carpentry experience can do. Matt, how's the project coming?
It's definitely coming along. We're here. We're up to the footing stage of the project, and definitely the digging wasn't easy, but digging builds character, I'm finding out here, Mike, and it's been quite the effort so far, but seems like right now we're rounding the end of the first step of getting this deck up and erected, and that's with the footings.
Right, let's take a little look at the video of the Matt putting these footings in, and then we'll comment on it afterwards.
Hi, we're at Matt's house. Matt, how you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm getting ready for this project here.
All right, I'm over at Matt's house, and we're laying out the footings for his deck. So if you want to take a look at this, we have all the strings up. We made some square lines to the house. We put the strings where we want the beams to go, and then we have lines square from the house, but this is going to be the center of where we want these sonotubes to go, or for the footings.
And from what I understand, this is kind of the blueprint of what the deck's going to be.
Yeah, this is how we're going to start. Now, there are ways that we could do these decks easier, but that's not what we want to do. We want to make it so that we do it correctly, and the viewers get to see different ways of doing these decks. They all come out the same, but again, the most important part is that it's safe and strong, and of course to code. So what we have a sonotube footing here, which is a cardboard footing. It's in Long Island where we are. The code is 3 foot down, but we want to have about a 4 inches above the ground. So when this decomposes, that's biodegradable, so it'll be gone a year or so.
No carbon footprint.
Yes, so that well, the cement is hazardous waste. Yes, but you want to have the top of your footing about 4 inches above the ground. You always want to keep your posts, your supports, and your 4x4s out of the ground, or out of anywhere where their water can infiltrate it and it could cause it to rot. So we're going to use this. This is made by Simpson. It's called a PB44Z. It has the little squiggles on the bottom. That's going to go into the cement, and when that hardens, that's not going anywhere. That's the beginning of our solid connection from the ground up to the frame of the deck. Are you ready, Matt?
So you're telling me I got to bury this thing up until 4 inches of the tube?
You certainly do.
And I got to do that 2, 4, 6, 8 times.
8 times. So
I ate my Wheaties this morning.
Yeah, well, it's going to take you more than one day to do this. We're going to get you a lightweight jackhammer to get through some of this concrete over here. But
can I just say goodbye to my old platform of a deck over there? She's kind of going on her final voyage.
We smashed that thing out.
Ripped that thing right out of the dirt there.
That went down in less than 2 minutes. All right, that's it. We'll see you soon.
Okay, got it. Okay, hi, we're at Matt's house. Matt, what's doing?
Nah, not much, man. These arms are retired. We're just finishing up the footings here.
Okay, 2 weeks to do the footings.
8 footings, 40 inches down. I like how you just breeze over. Like, yeah, we'll just dig them out real quick like I'm building a sandcastle at the beach. That was a lot of digging going on here.
Yeah, to do these things correctly, it's a lot of work. I mean, of course, you got to have a good foundation to build anything on.
Yep.
So these are here. He asked me to come down because he was getting a little nervous because he thought they were in the wrong spot, but of course, they're exactly where they need to be. And originally, we were going to use these, this footing, this type of post support here.
And this is basically what we're going to be connecting the posts of the deck to the cement?
Yes, because we want to have a solid connection from the ground all the way up to the deck.
Okay.
So what we've, after speaking with my friend Brett from Simpson, and if you saw a Deck Network video recently with Brett was on there, he said that he likes these because it gives these 1 inch standoff, and we're going to use this anchor bolt. So what...
Mike, why are you being so standoffish?
Well, we're just trying...
Deck joke, sorry.
So what we're trying to do is this is going to go right in the cement here, and it's going to stick up about just under 1 inch. It's going to be right in the center of where these two strings intersect. Then we're going to put the bolt right through there, bolt it in, and we got a good solid connection.
Now, when do I backfill in the forms? Is that after I put those in, or should I do that right now?
They could be done now. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, you're all set, and that's fine. It looks good. Again, it's a lot of work, isn't it?
You ain't kidding, but it's going to be that much more rewarding, I think, when we get it all done. And I remember in the first video you said that, I asked you, Mike, what's the hardest part of building the deck? And you said you're going to say every part is the toughest as you're going through it. And it's going to be tough to beat the footings, because that was a whole hell of a lot of work.
Okay. All right, that's great. Okay, we'll... All right,
that was some good stuff right there. What was I wearing in that first video, Mike? What was up with that ensemble?
That first video was 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and even Kevin from Blue Star said, "Mike, you look like you're in slow motion," because my body is geared to rest on Sundays because I work 6 and sometimes 7 days a week. So I look a little slow on that. So tell us, how was your experience putting footings in?
So far, so good. I'm almost done with that part of it, and I'm looking forward to the framing portion of it, which will be our next video. If you haven't seen the initial video of us getting started, I highly recommend you go back. It's kind of like a trilogy here of what we're doing and building this deck.
It's going to be something like a reality show, similar to on the Science Channel, where they have An Idiot Abroad, where this guy from England goes all over the world, and he really does. They claim that he is reluctant to do anything, and so they send him all over the world, and they put him in these situations that he's not really comfortable in.
But that's what I am here. Or maybe the show, So You Think You Can Deck, or something like that. I could see that. Now, isn't it so important with the footings and tubes? Didn't you have an example?
Yeah, okay. About 8 years ago, now, before there was video blogs, there was blogs. And before there was blogs, we just had websites. And I used to write about decks. I've been doing that for over 10 years. And I received a package one day from a gentleman from Rhode Island. And it had about 20 photographs, and he had reports from engineers, because his deck, he had just built the deck, and over the winter, the photographs showed that all of the hardware underneath the deck, all of his connections, his hurricane ties, his connections from his 4x4s to his beams were all torn. And people had different ideas on why this happened. So I looked at it for a few days, and then one night, as I usually do, I had my aha moment. And so I called him up, and I asked him about the footings. And he said, well, here in Rhode Island, it gets cold. And I said, yes, I'm familiar with that. He said, it's 42 inches down. I said, well, tell me about the sonotubes. He said, well, we didn't use sonotubes. We just dug the hole and filled it up with concrete. I said, well, that was the problem right there. What happens if you have a soil situation that's not sandy? So if it's sandy, the water will percolate through. If it has some clay or other materials in it, it's going to hold water. And we know when water freezes, it expands. So if you have 40 or 36 inches of soil with water in it, and you get a real cold winter, like we had that winter, what it did was it grabbed the soil, grabbed the rough exterior of the post support, the footing itself, and just
raised,
concrete. Yeah, the concrete just picked it right up, and it tore all of his hardware underneath. So I think that what he did was he had to go and replace all of his footings, and that was it.
What are the soil conditions on Long Island? Is it similar to Rhode Island?
It's a little different. We have. It's a little sandy in areas, but there is clay in other areas. But you can't really tell until you get in there. So we always, it's better to err on the side of caution. So you dig your footings down the proper depth. Use the proper post supports, because when they decompose, it leaves a nice smooth tube, and when the ground heaves, which it will, it has nothing to grab to.
Oh, because it's smooth on the exterior.
Yes.
You're saying where if you don't use the tube, it's going to be rough and give some surface area for it to grab onto.
Okay, so back to on the post supports, we changed our post support. We wanted one with a little standoff on it. Of course, Matt had some sort of comment about
some sort of bad deck joke.
That was fine. And I'm looking for anybody that has any comments about the post supports and the sonotubes. You can, of course, write me at Mike at the Deck Network. I get a lot of emails and photographs. I have a bunch of videos or pictures of segments and videos, and
there's a ton of content there. I find myself referencing the website while I'm going through this. If I have a question, I'll just see, and Mike covers it in one of the videos, so it's really comprehensive.
Our next step is that we're going to build the frame. Now I'm going to go over to Matt's house. I may bring a few of guys that work for me to give
some ringers to come and stand in.
Well, not really. You're going to build the deck, but we're going to lay it out. I'm going to do all the
outline of the deck.
Yeah, I'm going to lay out all the joists, because again, if you watch earlier what I said we don't want to do it the easiest way. We want to do it so that you, the viewer, sees as many different situations as possible. So that's why we built the deck 22 feet, because I wanted to use 16s and 6s. It would have been easier just to make it 20 foot and just use straight 20s, but we want to have a break in it to show there's proper ways of joining the deck. And so that's what's up on our what's on deck
for
That was a good one.
For the Deck Network and our segment, which has not been named yet. I still like the name Pretty Boy Smashes His Thumb, but we'll see.
Hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet because he hasn't had a hammer in his hand either. So tell us about the experience with the lightweight jackhammer.
Oh, the lightweight jackhammer. We actually have some footage that we could show you in the next video. The thing peeled right through my patio, and it was still tough. I had to get through some rebar, and they were actually they must have laid the patio twice, because if you saw
there was layers on it.
There was a couple different layers. So to get through that with a standard sledgehammer, I would have been there all day. But with the holes that we already had marked on the cement, I was able to chip away at it. Obviously, the post hole digger came into play, but it made the job a lot easier. I'm finding that with this sort of thing, having the right tools for the job makes all the difference in the world. Because if you're not using the right thing, it makes it a lot tougher.
Tools make all the difference, but experience on how to use the tools also helps. All right, that's it for this one. The next video with Matt is going to be on the frame, and we'll see you then. Have a great day.
Ciao for now.
Bye.